What's up, guys? I wanted to break down everything from week one, a weekly report that I started last year, going over pressures, targets, O line, D line, talking about Caleb Williams' game, and we'll go ahead and talk about Ben Johnson's game as well. I want to cover everything you need to know about week one. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First, let's talk about the pressure report. How good were our guys at getting after the quarterback? First things first, Jervon Dexter had a big game, recording a sack and a couple of pressures as well as a tackle for loss. He was in the backfield and affecting the Vikings' game plan, a big game for Big Dex. Unfortunately, Grady Jarrett did not do much in the box score. He took on some double teams and definitely provided some energy, but just three tackles and no pressures. I do expect more from him in the future. Montez Sweat was close to getting a sack. He did record a pressure, had two tackles for loss, and batted down a J.J. McCarthy pass in the red zone. Sweat wasn't great, but he didn't disappear either. But free agent addition Dio Odengbo had a big game. Three pressures, one sack, one tackle for loss, and a couple of quarterback hits. He also would have added two more pressures if it weren't for bad penalties. I thought Odengbo had a great debut. But practice squad guy Tano Passanio also looked pretty solid. If he can keep it up, he might get called up to the 53 soon. He had one sack and two pressures in limited snaps. Hopefully, he can help fill the void left by Austin Booker going forward. Overall, I thought our defensive line looked great on Monday night. I thought they ran out of gas late in the game. The pick six really took a lot of energy out of these guys. The Vikings drove 70 yards downfield, and then we had the pick six by Nashawn Wright. So the defense ran all the way down the field to celebrate in the end zone. And then the Vikings added two more long drives deep into Bears territory shortly after. And this defense simply ran out of gas. But let's talk about the offensive line. Darnell Wright was one of just a handful of tackles in the NFL who didn't allow a single pressure in week one. If it wasn't for the phantom holding call, he might have graded out as the best left tackle in football. A great start to the season and a 86.0 pass blocking grade, allowing zero pressures. Let's keep it up, Darnell. The rest of the line, though, had its struggles. Jonah Jackson's debut is not one for the memory books. He graded out as one of the worst linemen in football. It's just 1 week, but he gave up five pressures and had two penalties, and a couple of times he looked lost. He needs to be better. Drew Dahlman was also just okay. He gave up a sack and allowed four pressures, just letting guys get right up the middle in Caleb Williams' face. He did not have a great game either. Joe Tooney also allowed four pressures himself, but I thought he really helped out Braxton Jones at left tackle. I thought Tooney looked great regardless of his grade. Braxton Jones, though, he struggled. He didn't have any penalties, nor did he give up a sack, but he should have given up at least one sack, maybe two. He continued getting beat inside, and he had issues against the bull rush. Joe Tooney bailed him out on a number of occasions, and Caleb Williams showed his strength and broke off a couple of sacks that Braxton should have given up. Overall, he didn't have a great game. Darnell Wright was the bright spot, and Joe Tooney looked great to me. But we need more from this O-line. They will have some better opportunities to gel getting closer to the bye week. But let's talk about Caleb Williams' performance. I'll have my all 22 breakdown and talk about Caleb Williams' bad throws tomorrow. I'll talk a lot about the plays that he left on the field. Don't think I'm letting that get away this week. I'll have that out tomorrow. But Caleb also made some big plays. His biggest positive is that he continues to not turn the ball over, and he makes some big time throws every single game. Caleb did not have a great performance, but he wasn't terrible either. He needs to hit the easy layups and calm down in the pocket. The biggest positive was Caleb's scrambling ability. He escaped the pocket on multiple times, broke off some sacks, and picked up some big gains on the ground, including his first career rushing touchdown. Caleb's athletic ability is extremely underrated, and I expect Ben Johnson to continue getting more comfortable with Caleb as they grow together every week. The sky is still the limit here. But let's talk about Ben Johnson, who made his head coaching debut. How did he perform? I thought the play calls were pretty impressive. Caleb just needs to take advantage of the open targets and trust his arm talent. But the most disappointing aspect of this one was the penalties. 12 penalties for 127 total yards. Yes, some of those were really bad calls. But either way you shake it, that is a lot of penalties. This is something that was a problem during camp and now continues into the regular season. This team needs to clean things up, especially the pre snap procedural issues. I'd also like to see better timeout management here as well. Ben Johnson misused two of them at least and missed a challenge. We were only 3 for 12 on third down, and we failed on our only fourth down attempt. And while that was a bad challenge, I agreed with it at the time. The NFL implemented a new rule negating the punch out if a player is on the ground, but I think that's one they need to revisit in the offseason. They did it for player safety, but if the guy gets up, he can still run for a lot of yards. But we still lost that challenge and lost a timeout that could have helped us out late in the game. Also, the decision to not have Cairo kick it out of bounds. I believe this is on Cairo, as Ben Johnson seemed pretty upset in the press conference, and he said himself, the decision was to kick it out of the end zone. But shouldn't Ben Johnson know how far Cairo can kick it? Cairo did not kick it far enough, and honestly, a lot of us fans already doubted Cairo's ability to kick it out of the end zone. Richard Hightower has been with Cairo for a few seasons now, and maybe he's overrating Cairo's leg a bit. This is a mistake by the coaching staff either way, but I still saw a lot of positives here. Brian Flores did cover very well all game, but Ben Johnson was going back and forth with him, and he did scheme some guys open. Caleb missed some big passes that could have put this game away, and penalties really set us back. The negative here is that Ben Johnson is the first coach to lose his debut after being up 10 plus points in the fourth quarter since, drumroll please, Matt Nagy. Ugh. This isn't just Bears coaches either. That's in the NFL overall. I expect more from Ben Johnson's teams going forward, but I remain cautiously optimistic. Finally, let's talk about how Caleb and Ben Johnson divvied out the targets to Bears playmakers. The biggest thing I noticed is our first two draft picks were not involved enough. 3 total targets combined for Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, totaling a whopping 3 catches for 9 yards. 2 for 12 for Loveland, and 1 catch for -3 yards for Luther. Although Burden did return a kickoff 50 yards just before halftime, showing his explosion, but he needs to be more involved in this offense going forward. The biggest positive for me is that Rome Odunze's breakout season is underway. He had a low yardage total, but it's a good start as he's looking like Caleb's favorite target with 9 targets on the day. Unfortunately, he had 6 catches for just 37 yards, and he needs to make more explosive plays going forward, but he did catch the game's only TD pass. DJ Moore was heavily involved in the offense. He had 5 targets and 3 carries, and he had 3 big catches, and he just missed the other 2 grabs. If he brings those in, he would have finished over 100 yards. DJ right now is our explosive downfield player, and Rome Odunze seems to be the Amon-Ra St. Brown role in this offense, at least after 1 week. Although surprisingly, Olamide Zaccheaus had 7 total targets himself, twice as many as Luther Burden and Colston Loveland had combined. He caught 4 passes for 42 yards, and he was a big part of this offense. Overall, week 1 was a disappointing loss, where the Bears at one point had a 94.2 chance to win this game, according to ESPN's win predictability. It would have been close to 97% without the Darnell Wright phantom holding call, but things simply went downhill from there. The graph shows what a turning point that really was. But the Bears played great for 3 quarters of football and failed to finish. They need to learn to finish going forward. This week, I expect Ben Johnson to come out firing. I don't know if we can win this game, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we can at least keep it close. I love the Bears plus 6 points for my Profit X pick of the week, and I love Rome Odunze over 5 catches as well. The Lions are another team that we need to attack through the air. We cannot abandon the run game, but Rome Odunze is slowly taking over that wide receiver number 1 role, and he's becoming Caleb's favorite target. The chemistry was on full display on the big sideline connection during that first drive, a dime from Caleb to Rome. I expect that to continue going forward. If you have any picks for this weekend, let me know in the comments. New users on Profit X, use promo code SWIFT to get up to 200 in profit cash, available in 40 plus states. Sign up today. Bears vs. Lions on Sunday. I expect this game to be a showdown. Neither team wants to go 0-2, but one of these teams will fall into that hole. Not only 0-2, but 0-2 versus division opponents. Both teams lost to another NFC North team in week 1 and will have a tough time getting back into the division race with a loss. So this is going to be a big game. And for a Lions team with Super Bowl aspirations at home, this is about as close as you can get to a must-win game early in the season. For the Bears, we need to win this game too. But even if we start out 0-2, we can still salvage this season. Our offensive line is still gelling, and our head coach is learning on the fly. But we need to win some games before that bye week. I think we need to win at least 2 of the first 4, and we need to come out strong in Detroit. How confident are you guys heading into this one? Let me know in the comments. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.